I'm Jeff Ward, and the only agenda here is to make you think. This Wardism, these are things that I've said through the years that people cut and paste and have made a list of them. So I'm not quite sure when or why I've said it, but it seems like this one is making a comeback in a big way. Follow this. The Wardism is this. Hating is easy. Thinking is hard. Hating is easy and thinking is hard is having a moment again. Hate is living in real time. And the odd thing is it's clouded by the fake term, and I mean very fake term, debate. So the election of hate is now highlighted by Biden v. Trump, Part 2, the battle of the lost brain cells. That's what I would call it. And the whole thing is really comical. There's plenty of jokes to be made, and plenty of jokes are being made. And it's funny up until you stop and think, this is where we are. When you let it sink in, when you have that moment and you let the whole thing sink in, then it's not so funny anymore. So take a look at tonight. That is the debate night, fake debate, and be very embarrassed. Crack all the jokes you want, start all the drinking games you would like, but then be very, very embarrassed. We've got a criminal narcissist with a cult following who's used as the middle finger in a culture war of rage. And we've got an old man that should be in a robe, rocking back and forth in a chair, feeding the squirrels by a pond. That's what we have. And we're going to pretend that it's a debate. It is a policy-free debate for a voting public that seems to get dumber by the day and seems to hate policy with a passion. This is the battle of intellectual midgets, and it's done that way on purpose. And this one is really about this. Which doofus is going to screw up the worst? That's all it's about. Which doofus, old doofus, is going to screw up the worst? So it's not a debate. Certainly not the way we've come to expect. Even though I'm not saying they're great art either, but this is not a debate. We couldn't, as a voting public, I don't think we could handle a real debate. These two are incapable. Even if they were capable, they're not going to try because it's not going to work because it's not what the public wants. But they're probably incapable of having a debate. And not only do we not want a debate, the American public would leave and move on to the next stupid meme if they even started to have a debate. So they can't go there. So this night is just like all politics today. It's a car crash of two slow driving old men. It's a really bad crash, as bad as the crash can be with two really slow driving old men. The winner, I guess if you want to call it that, the winner is the one that gets the fewest memes. That's the way to keep score. So all debates, to be fair, are performance art. It's always been that way. But this debate is only about performance art. And the bar is low. When we say performance art, the bar is really low here. The goal of this pathetic circus is to avoid being a laughable meme. It's not to lay out policy. It's not to challenge the other person's policy. It's not to challenge anything. The voting public hates all that stuff. The only measurement is to avoid looking like and sounding like the old disconnected fools these two really are. They're just going to try to not sound like it or going to try not to look like it. That's the only goal. So let it sink in. Because to me, this is the sad truth. Biden wins by not drooling. Trump wins by looking like and sounding like and pretending that he's somewhat sane. He's not, of course, but just to look and sound like the lunatic he really is would be a mistake. So that's the goal, not to drool and not be a lunatic or look and sound like a lunatic. Are we following this thing? Yes, we are. Yeah. 70%, according to the Associated Press now, 70% of the public says they're following the debate. That doesn't mean they're going to watch every word. That means they're looking for the memes of who had the car crash. But people are paying attention. Are we following it for the right reasons? Are we following policy at all? And the answer, of course, is hell no. No way. Scholars have even learned the wardism that many of us from talk radio learned a long time ago. And that is hating is easy, thinking is hard. And so now scholars, sadly, predictably, have come up with a term themselves, right? The voting public doesn't want to learn anything about their candidates. You don't want to learn anything more tonight. You're not even going there to learn more. You don't really want to know anymore. What you want is to find more reasons to hate the other person. That's it. So scholars, sadly, have come up with a term to describe how people are going to watch this debate. It's called hate watch. Seems pretty simple to me, but that's what they say, hate watch, which fits perfectly. Hate watch is simple, and that is it's see if the other old guy crashes. That's all you're waiting on. So what's the point of even doing this? The truth is not much. I mean, there's not really that many people are going to be swayed one way or another, other than getting one meme out of the night that might generate a little more hate. But the more hate is going to be generated with people that are already going to vote one particular way. Both Biden and Trump's brand managers have figured this whole thing out. They've known this for a long time. Their brand managers are only trying to hang on to what they have. That's it. The idea of swaying anybody else seems virtually impossible at this point. Trump's team, I'll say this, Trump's team brilliantly, that's a weird way to put it, but I guess in this case we have to say brilliantly because it's the right strategy. Trump's team, his brand managers, have brilliantly and brutally said what most people are already thinking in an ad. They took it even further than what most people have been thinking for quite some time. Most people have been thinking this since the day Joe Biden said, "I'm one and done." And that is this. And they put it into an ad. And then they figured out what really freaks out his base, his followers. And so they just put the two together in an ad that's going to be very effective. The ad that will run tonight is pretty clear. It's nothing more than this. Old Joe may not survive another term. Okay, there's that. But then they do what you know really works, and that is pour gas on everything by leaving the lunatic base with their worst nightmare. Her, the VP, that is their worst nightmare.
When you think about the Joe Biden you saw in the debate, ask yourself a question. Do you think the guy who was defeated by the stairs, got taken down by his bike, lost a fight with his jacket, and regularly gets lost, makes it 4 more years in the White House? And you know who's waiting behind him, right? Vote Joe Biden today, hit Kamala Harris tomorrow.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
It works. It's not the kind of thing you typically say is brilliant, but it's on point. It's exactly what everyone's thinking. It's exactly what will work with the Trump followers. And it's going to air during the debate, which is even better. So it works. It's going to hang on to what he already has. And then Biden's brand managers want to do the same thing. And it's really not that hard either. I mean, none of this is difficult marketing, let's be honest. So the Biden side does this. He's a lunatic. He's a dangerous lunatic. How many different ways you can portray Donald Trump as a lunatic? He is. That's what they do. Trump's side says he's really, really old, he's drooling and he might die and she might take over. Biden's side says he's a lunatic, look out everyone. As if you didn't know this stuff already, right? So what's the scorecard for the debate? If there is another one, I'm not even sure what the point of another one would be, but what's the scorecard? Honestly, what's the scorecard of the debate? There are 2 check marks. That's it. There's not a whole lot of depth to the scorecard. Team Trump's goal is to not come across as a total raging nut. I don't think it's possible, but that's the scorecard for Team Trump. Team Biden's goal is for the current president not to doze off or fall down. He might. That's it. That's it. That's all they have to worry. Either side, that's all they're worried about. Don't be a nut. Don't fall down and doze off. There. Proud yet? The great mystery, of course, is will anything change after tonight, any other debate, any other conversation, any ad campaign? The answer, of course, is no. Nothing will change. You knew this from the very beginning. We've known this for years now. The outcome of this election, I would argue, only changes if either side add any voters, and if so, where will they come from? The margin is tiny. The voting difference is tiny. It's only going to be a few counties all over again. I think people have now come to the conclusion it's not many people are going to decide this race. So could either one of them use tonight or an ad campaign to add any voters? And if so, where would they come from? And the answer is most likely no. I guess we'll wait and see, but probably not. There's not even going to be an effort to add new voters. It's just going to be hang on to the ones you have by making them hate the other guy. So if you want to forget all the serious and embarrassing parts of this and the end of America as we know it, I guess, you would say, let's create a drinking game for the debate. And creating a drinking game for the debate is really pretty easy. If you're a normal person, reasonable person, with justified disgust of where our political system has landed, then you don't even need a drinking game. You need numbing yourself, just numbing your brain, numbing your senses for this dumbed down car wreck to be over soon. It's the only way to go. It's not even a drinking game. It's just a numbing process. So I guess the way to end this would be just like this debate, and that would be in the famous words of the guys from Delta House and Animal House, right? I mean, the great poetry that is the Delta House from Animal House. Our suggestion is you start drinking and drinking heavily.